So yeah, I don't know about you, but every year around this time, I hit that weird mix of nerves and excitement. Xcode drops, iOS gets its annual coat of paint, and Swift quietly levels up. And this year, Swift 6.2 landed with Xcode 26, iOS 26. And honestly, this one feels a little different. Now, you've probably seen the blog posts, you've probably seen the laundry list of features. But if you're anything like me, building solo, blending AI tools into your flow, maybe bouncing between projects at 2 a.m. with Claude, Codex, or Cursor open, what actually matters here? Like, what's going to move the way we actually build, ship, and survive as indie devs? Just real quick, I'm Daniel. Been living in the iOS trenches for, what, 8 years now? Started off freelancing, working with clients, figuring out what actually works and what just burns you out. But after Dub 25, I kind of flipped the switch and went all in on solo dev life. Since then, I've shipped a bunch of my own apps, started putting everything out there in public, and honestly, these days, pretty much all my energy is going into Crafter's Lab. This isn't just another tutorial site or another AI clone farm. This is my actual home base for solo devs who treat AI like a real teammate, not just a vending machine. It's packed with resources. There is access to my live command center. This is where I actually plan out new apps, draft the docs, write my .md files, and share the real process behind every build. There's a full curated Swift and Swift UI library in there too. Basically, all the deep dive resources I actually use to fine tune, train, and power up Claude or Codex. And the newest piece, Ops Lab, is where I'm building and sharing all my AI agent systems, those Notion setups, workflows, and automations that keep the whole indie stack connected. So, yeah, if you want your own command center and not have to start from scratch, and honestly, if you want to get in early and lock your membership, now's kind of the sweet spot. And yeah, if you're part of the Patreon crew, huge thanks. And heads up, everything's moving over to crafterslab.dev. All right, I want to start with what I think is the headline for solo iOS devs. Swift 6.2 is finally making single-threaded apps the default. And listen, if you've ever tried to explain actors to an AI agent or had to annotate every function in your code base with @main_actor just to avoid random UI bugs, you know what a weird relief this actually is. For the last couple of years, strict concurrency in Swift has been, let's just say, an adventure. On paper, it was a huge win. Safety everywhere, actors everywhere, the end of data races. But in real projects, especially solo, especially on apps where the 90% of the work is UI, it was honestly just a lot of boilerplate. Like, how many times did you have to, what do you do, explain to Claude? No, really, just run this on the main thread or have Cursor refactor something, and suddenly half your UI updates break. With 6.2, Apple is finally giving us a breather. New projects in Xcode 26 will just run on the main actor by default. No more annotating every view model. No more, did I forget to put at main actor on this? Anxiety. If you want the old, all the concurrency, all the time mode, you can still turn it on. But if you're building a standard iOS app, especially solo, you can actually just breathe and let the runtime handle it. And if you're like me, running multiple AI agents in your workflow, it just means way less weird friction and way fewer, hey, why did this deadlock moments. And yeah, if you're bringing an old project forward, you might have to flip a flag in your build settings. But trust me, it's worth it. It means you can just ship features, not spend your nights debugging which async method forgot to hop to the main thread. For solo devs, that's kind of everything. I'll be real. A lot of new Swift features every year are cool for the folks doing systems work, but don't really change my day to day. But there are a few little changes in 6.2 that are actually going to save us real time, especially if you lean on AI tools or just want your code to feel a little more like 2025 Swift. First up, default values in string interpolation. I know, it sounds tiny, but you know how you'd interpolate a value, and if it was nil, you'd have to jump through hoops with coalescing just to keep your UI from showing optional everywhere. Now you can just pass a default right inside the string. No more type gymnastics, no more weird ternaries, just clean output. And it even works if the types are different. So you can, for example, default an int straight to a string, small thing. But if you've ever had Claude or Codex try to help with string formatting and make a mess, this saves you a ton of little fixes. Next one, collection conformance to enumerated. Okay, this is for all my fellow Swift UI fans who are tired of dancing around for each just to get the index. Now, when you call dot enumerated on a collection, the return type actually conforms to collection, which means you get all the sweet collection methods. You can access offset an element directly, and you don't have to fight the type checker. Again, this is one of those changes that just melts friction away, especially if you're wiring up UIs with a lot of lists, grids, or custom controls. And last one in this section, inline arrays. This is for the folks who care about squeezing every ounce of performance out of their apps. Inline arrays let you define a fixed size array, like inline array 4 string, which is, yeah, more restrictive than a normal array, but way more efficient for tight performance critical loops. Most of us won't use this every day, but if you're building something like a custom drawing engine or you're just a nerd for micro optimizations, it's pretty sweet to have. So yeah, none of these are world changing on their own, but together they make Swift just a little less, why is this so awkward, and a lot more, yeah, this is nice. And if you're blending AI in your workflow, it means the code your agents generate is less likely to hit those weird edge cases that used to trip up every refactor. Okay, this is what I care about the most because, let's be honest, new language features are cool, but what does any of this actually change for the solo dev workflow? Especially if you, like me, are bouncing between Claude, Cursor, GPT, and actual Xcode 26. Honestly, the move to main actor by default is the most AI-friendly shift I've seen in years. Before this, you'd have AI tools suggesting code that almost worked, except they'd miss an annotation, or forget you needed to hop to the main thread, or they'd spawn concurrency where you didn't need it. So you'd end up spending as much time cleaning up after your agent as you did writing features. Now, with single-threaded by default, your AI assistant is way less likely to break your UI. And your code reviews, even when you're the only reviewer, that go a whole lot smoother. Same thing for the little quality of life upgrades. If you're like me, you have a growing list of Claude, here's my Claude.md, here's my style guide. Please don't do the weird string thing again. The more the language fits, the way we actually build apps, the less context you need to bake into every session, and the fewer times you end up with fix this string interpolation again in your prompts. But here's the bigger picture. All these little changes added up make it way easier to onboard AI into your real, messy indie workflow. The language is just getting out of your way. The tools you use, whether that's Apple's own AI stuff in Xcode or Claude on the side or Cursor for big refactors, all start to converge on this just works, and the friction points get fewer and farther between. And I'll be real, as solo builders, we don't always have the luxury of big code reviews, test teams, or a week to refactor the project just because Swift changed. We need the stack to help us, not give us more to patch. 6.2 isn't flashy, but for me, it's the first version in a while that feels like Apple's shipping for real indie workflows, not just the folks writing the Swift compiler. So, yeah, if you're still here at this point, honestly, you're a legend. Like, no joke. I appreciate you sticking around and just hanging out through all this. And, if anything I said today resonates, or you're just tired of figuring this solo dev stuff out in a vacuum, do yourself a favor and check out crafterslab.dev. Seriously. It's packed with everything I wish I'd had back when I started. Not just a resource dump, but the actual stuff I use every day. App blueprints, Figma foundations, growth tips, all of it. There's a Discord too if you want to stay accountable or just see a little clearer through the indie fog. And then there's the Notion workspace. This is where it gets real. You've got team spaces like the playbook, which is basically my live command center where I plan out apps, write docs, share the real behind the scenes of every build, not just the highlight reel. And then, yeah, there's Swift Brain, my curated Swift and Swift UI library, all those deep dive resources I lean on when I need to fine tune, train, or power up Claude, Cursor, Codex, whatever's next. The newest one is Ops Lab. That's where I'm building and sharing all the AI agent systems, Notion automations, workflows, the whole deal that actually keeps my indie setup running instead of falling apart. Put it all together, and you get what I call Crafter OS. It's my evolving operating system for solo devs who actually treat AI like part of the team, not just some magic vending machine you poke when you're stuck. I'm still refining it, I'm still experimenting, but that's the fun of it. You know what I mean? And if you want to get in early and lock in your membership, honestly, right now is kind of the sweet spot. So, yeah, if you're still listening, you're my kind of builder. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. And as always, drop a comment if you've got tips, weird workflows, or just want to swap stories about what's working for you. And of course, if you want more of this, hit subscribe, join the Discord, or just lurk. Whatever feels right. All right, that's it from me. Keep building, keep tinkering, and don't forget, solo doesn't have to mean alone. See you next time. Peace.